and welcome back to the Always Be Building Show, sponsored by Dynasty Football Factory Network. I am Stephen Chalmers, joined as always by my partner on the right side of the screen, Ryan O'Dell, a.k.a. my boy Deli. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. The Always Be Building Show, that is. Today, it's the last and final episode of our Rookie Stock Watch. Something we've been excited about. We're wrapping this one up. We're really excited to get into the the preseason stuff. So let's wrap this one up. Covering 5 players today. If you missed the first 2 episodes, we've covered, down the line, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers. We've covered them. If you want to watch those, they're in the YouTube channel. We've got 2 episodes up already. That being said, Steve, you want to kick this off?
Yeah. So again, monster numbers for our YouTube for these 2 videos. So thank you very much for all the support. Had some feedback as well for the podcast, for the YouTube videos. So Ryan and I took that into account as well. You'll notice we're trying to make the videos look a bit more professional. The chapters are now introduced into our video. So we're going to start doing that from now on just so you guys can find the information that you want. Other than that, as always, Dynasty Football Factory Network, we have a $19.99 yearly membership over there. If you pay monthly, comes out to what, about $1.67?
About 67, yeah.
Yeah, really, really, really good price for the membership. Like I said, Ryan and I always say this: we're fantasy football addicts as grown men. We get to sit here and talk football, whether it be redraft, best ball, Devy, Dynasty, IDP, trade values. We do trades in there. So join the Discord. It's a great time in there. We love talking football, and we're always here to help you guys out. So we've always done the video, no spoilers. So I know you guys seen the thumbnail. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be talked about. Not sure when. He will be talked about tonight, though. So I do want to give a shout out to Ryan, who is the designer for our thumbnails. I have no technology experience. I suck at it. So everything you see that goes on the YouTube is all Ryan. So we just want to say thank you. And obviously our boy Wilkins here. Appreciate you, buddy.
Be well.
So without further ado, let's get into it. Bo Nix. Ryan, I'll be honest with you, 12th overall pick. And I wasn't sure what to expect from Bo Nix. We know he has a 5th-year college pedigree here. Those guys typically don't work out. I like the aspects of Dan Marino, Joe Burrow. There have been a few outlier guys that stand out to you as an elite prospect when it comes to that. But what were your honest expectations for Bo Nix?
I hate to say it, but coming out, I kind of expected like another Zach Wilson experience, which is ironic because they're on the same team now. But all those comments Sean Payton made at the draft about how they were trying to scare the Vikings into taking or trading up for McCarthy, and they were going to stay put and get Nix no matter what. I think we all thought he was crazy for saying that. But from that first preseason game so far, 15 for 21, 125 yards and a touchdown. He was pretty good. He made some great throws out there in his first preseason game. Kept his eyes downfield. All the things you want to see. Given Steve mentioned that he's a 5th-year rookie, which obviously raises some red flags. I think he's coming into the league 23, 24, one or the other. That's old for a rookie. So we'll see what happens. History doesn't fare well for him, but so far so good for Bo Nix.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this kid in college when it came to the transfer from Auburn to Oregon. I really think it opened up his game in the aspects of seeing the field, being able to process defenses quickly, getting the ball out. Again, he did lead the NCAA in completion percentage, one thing that we don't talk about. Underrated arm. People don't talk about it. He does have an underrated arm. It's not the best. It's not the worst. So I do like Bo Nix in certain aspects. He showed those tools in the first preseason game here. Like Ryan said, 15 for 21, 125 passing yards in his first touchdown. What impressed me about the touchdown was he had the play call. It was a fake handoff. Marvin Mims hits on the left side. A little 1-yard strike to Marvin Mims, 3rd and goal, and the Colts won. He had that play call. They gave him that play call. It wasn't designed that way. It was supposed to be a handoff, and he pulled it back. They find the touchdown. His first preseason touchdown. Beautiful. Beautiful play. And I must say, overall, the ability to read the defense and the ability to get the ball out quickly is where Bo Nix is going to thrive. And he did that.
Yeah.
Executed that very well. I will say in the game, I noticed that when the pressure was in his face, his footwork did get a little spotty. I did notice that there were 4 or 5 throws that were thrown off his back foot because he couldn't get set in time into his drop and get his feet planted. Okay, that happens. But that's something that I am going to watch out for, as we go into the preseason process. He didn't even draw the start. Jarrett Stidham drew the start.
No, that didn't last very long, to be fair. But yeah. I mean, I guess the only criticism I have, well, not criticism, is obviously we're playing preseason games here. Zach Wilson put up pretty similar numbers. I think he was like 10 of 15 or 16 for like 110 yards. So about the same rate that Bo Nix was at. Could be the system. We'll see. We got 3 more weeks of preseason to see what's going on with this whole Broncos quarterback situation. I think me and Steve both assume it's probably going to be Nix, given the 12th round pick aspect of everything. But we'll wait and see. I mean, definitely some red flags here, like Steven mentioned, but just things to look out for. At least he's starting off on a good foot.
Yeah. Sean Payton got his guy. Sean Payton got his guy.
Yeah.
Please remember, there's not a lot of positive outlook on the Denver Broncos roster in general. I believe this is a team that's going to trade off veterans and accrue draft picks to build around their young QB. It's not pretty now. Bo Nix is a starting quarterback, though. If you are in any rookie drafts to this point, he's a great value. He's a great value in startups. Look to add him to your roster. You can sit on your taxi squad. Why not?
Yeah, he considers you QB3. You'd probably be just fine. Who what?
Next player, Braelon Allen.
All right.
This one impressed me. It really impressed me. This kid's 20 years old. This kid can't even go out to the bar and drink a beer with his teammates.
Yeah.
And we've all talked about it. He's one of the most decorated Big Ten running backs in quite some time. He has a hell of a college pedigree. He has a hell of a college resume. And he's one of the youngest running backs in this class. We talked about it from an athletic standpoint. He's a freak. But we talked about his game not being mature enough. Strictly a north-south runner that we had discussed, right, who has the ability and the athleticism to expand beyond that. And here we are. First game, that 25-yard carry broke 5 tackles.
Yeah.
It was a great play. It was a great play. Overall, over 5 yards per carry is what you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Solid stat line there. 54 rushing yards on what? 8 carries? 9 carries?
6
Whatever
carries.
it was.
6 carries. Yeah.
6 carries. So I know the situation isn't ideal. I know Breece Hall's the man. Cool. But right now, Braelon Allen has to be a top 5, top 7 handcuff in your fantasy drafts.
Sure. Especially with the youth, with how young he is. But yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, out of all the running backs that we had in the preseason, we saw week 1, he had the number 1 explosive run rate. He was solid down her runner, even broke out for one on the outside. I mean, running hard. It's kind of what you want to see. He's fighting for a backup spot behind Breece Hall. There's no question Breece Hall is the guy here. But who's to say he can't be a great spell back and give Breece Hall some relief when needed? I mean, we saw it last year, kind of like a Tyler Algier situation. We obviously hope that for Breece Hall, but I mean, you can see that for Braelon Allen is that got to come in for relief. Somebody that me and Steve both had eyes on for a while. I mean, this guy's been running the rock heavy since his freshman year at Wisconsin. So, kid's a beast. It's just a grim situation. I wish he was drafted to basically any other team. Being stuck behind Breece Hall.
I wish it was Dallas.
Yeah. I think everybody coming into it was kind of like hoping that Dallas would eventually take that running back, and they didn't take any. And passing on Braelon Allen as many times as they did surprise me. But hey,
and the best part about it is he's already got a roster spot.
Yeah,
he's already the running back too. There's really no running back competition behind him other than Izzy Abinaconda out of University of Pittsburgh. But other than that, okay. You already know he's got a roster spot locked in. He's going really late in drafts. He was going like mid-3rd.
Yeah.
Sometimes early 4th, depending on how far he fell. Draft capital and overall team exposure really hurt him, but I don't think it should have. He's a great stash, especially if you're a Breece Hall owner. You can get him really cheap.
I think you should own Allen if you own Breece. For sure, that's a great handcuff. Steve mentioned earlier top 5, top 7, whatever it is. I think if he ever gets a chance, he's probably going to take advantage of it.
Per Fantasy Pros, I just looked this up. Dynasty running back ADP, running back 61.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are you getting for a future third or fourth round pick for a rookie draft? Like,
Sure. And in this aspect, please remember as well that he will be 23 when his rookie contract is up.
yeah.
So, as we like to say around here, Braelon Allen, Dynasty stock, up.
Surprisingly up.
Surprising.
Given the
Ran really
situation.
hard. Great game from him. Great game from him. It was a great game. So, where you want to go next?
I mean, I've been waiting 2 podcasts to talk about this guy. So you ask me, we're going straight to Jalen Polk.
Jalen Polk.
I mean, this has been a guy that we've talked about for so long. We've talked about on so many podcasts. I don't know why we've taken this long to take him, but I guess why not save the best for last? But I really like Jalen Polk. I mean, only had 3 catches for 14 yards, but made an absolutely insane one-handed catch on a 3rd and 5. I mean, that's the stuff you want to see. And even in those 14 yards, I mean, they were all schemed that way. He ran a 2-yard in and ran the ball for another 3 or 4 before he got taken down. I mean, that's kind of just how they used him in this game. You definitely want to see his role expanded outside of short yardage plays, but you see catches like that, man's got hands of glue so far. I'm excited to see what he can do. We got 3 more preseason games. I like what Polk's done already.
Yeah. So, no disrespect to Jalen Polk. I'm a huge Javon Baker fan, so that's why I chose him in the second episode of the podcast. No disrespect. Again, I like the big play potential guys, and that's why I talk about Javon Baker first. Jalen Polk, solid, technical football player.
Yep.
Route technician, hands of glue, knows where to be on the field at all times, especially in zone coverage. Plays very well. I told everybody, and I continue to say it, he has shades of Chris Godwin in his game.
Yeah.
And I really, really like Jalen Polk and think he has a safe floor. Not sure what the ceiling is, but I do think he's going to be a safe wide receiver for you for some time to come. Just not sure what the masses are when it comes to his upside. But a nice foundational piece for a young rookie quarterback, for sure.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, obviously, with this whole thing flying around with Brandon Ayuk being traded to potentially the Patriots, I mean, obviously that puts a little bit of fear in some owners, but I think they can stick it out even if it does happen. But honestly, right now, not looking like we're back to Ayuk staying with the 49ers as of today. What is this? August 12th. So we'll see what happens in a week, but I mean, I like Polk's future here, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I think Drake May's a quarterback that can do pretty well in the next at the next level in the NFL, and it's got to be somebody. I mean, I like Javon Baker, but Polk, I think, profiles is that like go-to guy as opposed to Javon Baker being the deep ball big play guy. I like the possession and the guaranteed like target volume. I think as long as Ayuk doesn't make a landing spot, that's going to be what Polk's sitting under. I take the PPR.
Spoiler alert. I do not think Brandon Ayuk plays anywhere other than the San Francisco 49ers in 2024.
I think he stays.
Yes, this has been a smokescreen for a couple of days now, and I've heard Cleveland, I've heard New England, I've heard Pittsburgh, I've heard north, south, east, and west. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay. Joe Milton. Okay, man. Okay. So I'm going to cover Joe Milton for 1 second. It's unfortunate that Drake May only played 1 series.
Yeah.
And in the series, it seemed like they protected him in the play calling aspect. He was 2 of 3 for 19 yards, excuse me. Checkdowns. Both passes completed with checkdowns to the running backs. It was scripted that way. It really seemed like it was scripted that way. So not a whole lot we can do on the evaluation process of Drake May. All I can say is I hope that we get more extended play from Drake May in preseason week 2.
Yeah.
Joe Milton, yeah, raw prospect, very raw prospect, looked really good in the second quarter / a little bit into the third, playing second string, third string defenses. That's cool. It's cool. We'll see. Had to get you to talk about him. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Milton. Yeah,
So
give me a break.
with that being said, Jalen Polk, I do like the prospect and the profile. Again, shades of Chris Godwin to him when I watch him play. Good prospect, intriguing prospect, as we've always talked about.
Yeah.
Next prospect. It's going down to Jacksonville.
Hey. Another guy we took too long to talk about, man.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
So this prospect, we thought for a first-round wide receiver, also was raw. And I say that because, again, we're talking about those late breakouts in college. This kid didn't start playing football until his 10th grade year of high school. But it just so happens to be he's 6'5", 215 pounds, runs a 4.3, and can jump out the gym like Randy Moss. These guys aren't just walking around every day. The late breakout happened, and he leads the NCAA in touchdowns last year.
Yeah, him and Jaden looked so special last year.
Right. Again, but we talked about the red flags. We've talked about the career under 2 yards per route run leading up to his senior season. We talked about the efficiency or the deficiencies versus man, especially press. He did struggle versus press. Zone coverage just tended to struggle in that area as well. Was actually higher success rate versus zone than he was man, but he did struggle, especially against press man coverage. I will throw that out there. But
yeah,
with the skill set he possesses, and I must say Trevor Lawrence does throw a pretty deep ball. A lot of vacated targets between Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley. I believe Brian Thomas Jr. as a prospect fits very well with Trevor Lawrence.
I think so too. It's a great scheme fit for Jacksonville, and only targeted twice in that first preseason game, but had a deep ball, like we saw a ton of in college. Already translated to the NFL, made a great catch on the sideline for 42 yards. Look, I don't really. I mean, Steven's a little more optimistic than me. We're still not 100% sure where he's going to be on the pecking order of this team. He could be 2, could be 3. We'll see how it goes.
Could be 4.
Obviously, you have Evan Ingram and Kirk, who's established a solid connection with Trevor Lawrence over these past 2 years. We'll see. I mean, I would like to think personally that he's going to be the 2 in this offense and definitely profiles that deep ball guy as opposed to Kirk playing that possession role. I really like Brian Thomas Jr. at 6'4", running in a 4.3 is nuts. Try not to get too excited about these guys. But, I mean, you talk about the college stuff. Yeah, also have to remember he's been playing on the same team as Malik Neighbors. So the stats have definitely been suppressed. They just got a good quarterback, a year and a half ago with Jaden Daniels. Before that, they didn't have anybody throw him the ball. I think he looked special last year, and I think it would translate to the league. I think it might take a year, if I'm honest. But practice patience with this guy too, man.
Yeah. So the signing of Gabe Davis, okay, I'll be honest with you. I don't believe Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have a big role in year 1. I just don't. You have Kirk, you have Ingram, you have Travis Etienne. You sign a similar wide receiver in Gabe Davis, who we've seen have streaks of greatness in Buffalo, and we've had streaks of just, I don't know what to call it. It's been bad. It was bad. But they profile as the same guy. Typically, veterans get the nod first. Where he falls on the pecking order, I'm not sure. Year 1, patience. I do believe Brian Thomas Jr. is going to work himself into a bigger role later in the year. I do not believe that will happen early. Now, he could shock the world.
No, always could.
Come out and ball. So we'll see. But as I practice patience with Roma Dudze and preach it, I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to do the same here.
I think eventually him and T-Law would definitely click because Steven mentioned that T-Law a great deep ball. I just want to get that out. You can move on now.
Yeah. Last player. We're going to the desert. The thumbnail. Maserati Marv, Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr. So this one's weird. And I say it's weird because he's in a lawsuit with Fanatics. Arizona's not really producing a whole lot of training camp content. I've seen Kyler Murray connect with Trey McBride on multiple occasions. I've seen Kyler Murray connect with Marvin Harrison Jr., not in pads, just throwing the ball around.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a whole lot from Marvin Harrison Jr. He played the other day. He didn't draw a single target. He played.
No targets.
He got 5 snaps. Okay. So what do we gather from that? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to go back to the profile. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is an elite wide receiver. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's already inside most top 10 Dynasty wide receivers without playing a snap. Well, he's played 5 snaps in preseason, but no targets. But nonetheless, I mean, we can't sit here and talk about what he's done so far, but we can talk about the potential he has in Arizona with Kyler Murray, who's already had a great repertoire with another elite receiver in the past, and DeAndre Hopkins, and that worked out fantastic. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to have the same career, but he can definitely guard the same amount of targets that DeAndre Hopkins did while he was there. I think that translates into multiple huge seasons for Marvin Harrison. We haven't seen him play since college. I mean, we haven't seen him in workouts really before the draft. We didn't see him at combines. None of that. I would have loved to see what he would have done if he would have had a ball thrown to him. But we still got 3 more weeks left, and I think the sky's the limit for this kid, honestly. Super special player.
Yeah. So I like to reference back to his ADP. And I must say his ADP is rather high in redraft. You're going to have to pay a second-round pick for him to acquire him. He is coming off the board as wide receiver 8.
Yeah.
Especially with the Puka Nacua injury looming and the knee injury there. After the big 5, you got Garrett Wilson. You had Puka, potentially Olave. He's in that tier right there with Olave, Drake London, Puka Nacua. I believe the upside is warranted.
Yeah.
I really do. Marvin Harrison Jr., like Ryan said, is one of those elite level prospects that should thrive in the NFL. Not going to say it's a guarantee, but he should thrive in the NFL. He's going to be a wide receiver 1 for your dynasty teams for years to come. Just hard to talk about a prospect when there's not much content on the prospect.
Right.
So he's a hold regardless. Ryan said top.
If you drafted him, he'll keep him on your roster forever.
Ryan says top 10 for dynasty wide receivers. I've seen him as high as wide receiver 4.
I mean, it varies. Just broadening the thing, no matter how people see it. He's top 10.
Yes. I've seen him as high as wide receiver 4, as low as wide receiver 8. Just depends on the person, depends on how they value him. I do think he's special. I do think he's elite. So take that for what you want. And this is going to be our last episode of the Dynasty Rookie Stock Watch. We are going to get into preseason coverage now. It is time. Games have started. We'll have this week, and then we'll have next week. Anything you want to say?
We have football, baby.
We are back. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah. For those of you who came out to watch tonight, short podcast. Only ran for about 24 minutes here. Had 137 people stop in. Appreciate you all for coming in here and supporting what we do week in, week out. We'll see you all next week. Every Monday, 45. We'll be right here. I hope you join us.
It is my short week. We will have a second podcast this week, just so you guys know. That is on the docket for this week. I do have a new article starting. It is a weekly article. It's called the Dynasty Rookie Stock Market. This article this week will be focusing mainly on the quarterbacks, especially first-round quarterbacks. I didn't cover Spencer Rattler. But first-round quarterbacks is going to be my first article. Should be uploaded tonight. Should be published maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. So keep your eye out for that. Again, 145 people are in the podcast tonight. So Ryan and I appreciate all the support. The YouTube video will most likely be uploaded tonight or tomorrow as well. A lot of content coming from us. Season is here. We are excited, and we're going to keep this thing rolling. And on that note, fellas, we are out.